Hello, everybody. Welcome to another lecture on reasoning ability and problem solving. In today's lecture, we will start with a new topic called jumbling, and we'll discuss all the types of questions that can be formed in this topic and what can you expect in your competitive exams. So, let us start. Now, what do you mean by jumbling basically? So, let us say we have four alphabets, right? And they are written something like this. Okay, so if my alphabets are written like this, they are not in a particular order. They are not in a descending order, neither they are in an ascending order. So when we cannot actually figure out any particular order, that means these words are jumbled up. Correct? It could be letters, alphabets, it could be numbers also. So it could be 22, then 4, then 1, and then 7. So again, there is no particular order. These are not in descending order or ascending orders. Correct? That means they are jumbled up. If I write this as A, B, C, D, or if I write it as D, C, B, A, this is what? This is ascending order or increasing order. This we all studied in class in school, right? And this means decreasing order, correct? So this is ascending order and this is descending order. So if I arrange them in a particular order, that means I have unjumbled them. These were jumbled up. Similarly, these are jumbled up. So I can write it either as 1, 2, 4, 7 or 7, 4, 2, 1. So this will be ascending order and this will be descending order. So this is what you mean by jumbling. Certain words, certain elements, certain, it could be alphabets, it could be numbers, they are jumbled and we have to arrange them. So, in jumbling, we can get 5 types of problems in your competitive exams. What are these? Word jumbling, number jumbling. Word jumbling is can also be called alphabetical jumbling. Okay? The number jumbling, paragraph jumbling, logical sequence jumbling, and alphabetical order of words. This we'll do it. We'll understand in details. So let us understand all of these in details. Start with this word jumbling. Word jumbling means basically we are given a, this is a jumbled word, correct? And we have to unjumble it or we have to unscramble it to form a meaningful word. So all the alphabets in a word, it could be something like this. So we have a word cat, right? This is the correct word, a meaningful word. Correct? Now, if I write it something like this, okay, or something like this, and I ask you to give me a meaningful word that use all these alphabets, in this case, I can unscramble it, both of these words, and can make cat, which is a meaningful word. So these are all scrambled or jumbled words. Correct? So, what do you mean by word jumbling? Basically, we take a meaningful word and scramble the alphabets. We jumble up the alphabets. So, if you look at this question, this is given to us. These are some alphabets that are jumbled. And we have to find out a meaningful word that can be formed using all these alphabets. So sometimes in the question it is specified that using all alphabets only once, like in this case. Sometimes it is given that we can repeat the alphabets also. Sometimes we have to find out shorter words. For example, this is the word given to us, HANTMU. This is scrambled up. If I look at this word, I can form a word man, correct? If I use this alphabet, and this alphabet, I can create man. Similarly, if I use H, U, and T, I can create a word hut. Correct? If I use the words A and T, these alphabets, then I can use ant. Similarly, using the same alphabets, I can create tan. Correct? Correct? What more can be formed? Then now MAT, mat. Correct? Similarly, HAT, hat. Then I can create ham, which is a type of a meat. Correct? So all these words, you get the idea, right? So I can unscramble all these alphabets and can form so many words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 words at least. More can be formed. Correct? So this is one way to unscramble the jumbled word. This is a jumbled word, right? So this is one way. Or you can get something like this, that we have to use all the alphabets only once. So this is usually what is implied in the question. If the question says how many words can be formed, then we can get a concept like this. But if it is not mentioned, then it is assumed that we have to use all the alphabets only once, and we have to use all the alphabets. So we have to form a word which uses all the alphabets. So if you look at the options, hatnum, is it a word? No. Tantum, is it a word? No. Nat Mew, is it a word? No, does not make any sense. Manhunt, is it a word? Yes. So our answer will be option number 2, manhunt. So did you understand how many types of questions you can get? Either something like this, in which you have to make as many words as you can using these letters, or you can get a question in which you have to use all the alphabets only once. Okay? Usually, this is the type of question that you get in your exam. Then we have another type of question called number jumbling. So, number jumbling, only two concepts that we use. The first concept is ascending, also known as increasing order. Increasing order means what? Smaller number to bigger number. That is how we move, right? Then the other concept is descending, also known as decreasing order. So, in decreasing order, that means we move from bigger number to smaller number. Correct? Only these two concepts are used in number jumbling. Now, if we look at the question, first and the foremost thing is to make sure what is asked. So, in this question, particularly, ascending order is asked. Ascending order means what? Means what? Smaller to bigger. Correct? This is what you mean by ascending order. Now, so if the numbers given to me are 7, 3, 9, 1, and 5. So if I have to arrange them in ascending order, that means 1, which is smaller than 3, which is smaller than 5, which is smaller than 7, and which is smaller than 9. Correct? If okay, signs, let me tell you. If you get something like this, A, this sign, then B, it means A is smaller than B. Okay? If you get like this, A, then this sign, then B, open gate. Remember it like this, open gate and closed gate. So when you get a sign like this, it means that A is bigger than B. Similarly, something like this means A is equal to B. Okay? Clear? Now, So this is what? This is what? This is ascending order. So our answer will be option number 2, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. This is one type of question. Let's say in the question we were asked descending order. So for descending order, 9 is bigger than 7, which is bigger than 5, which is bigger than 3, which is bigger than 1. This is descending order. Correct? So if the question asks descending order, then our answer will be option number 1. This is descending order and this is ascending order. Okay? So just focus what is asked in the question and then answer the question. So the next type of question is paragraph jumbling. It is also known as sentence jumbling. And it is also known as para jumbles. Okay? So basically in these type of questions we are given certain sentences. So over here we are given 5 sentences, right, in this question. And we have to rearrange them to form a meaningful or a also known as a coherent paragraph. So these are all jumbled up, correct? And we have to logically sequence them so that the ultimate paragraph that we get is meaningful. And this is a type of question that is very common in your English section as well. So over here also we are given 5 options and we have 5 sentences and we have to rearrange them to make them into a meaningful paragraph. Now let us start. So 5 sentences. The first sentence is the world has become a global village. The second sentence is communication and travel have become more accessible. Then third, in today's age of technology, distances have shrunk. Fourth, internet can connect people effortlessly. And E, thanks to the internet and advancements in transportation. Okay. So when I look at C, sentence C, in today's age of technology, distances have shrunk. So whenever we introduce a paragraph, I can say this looks like a introductory line. Correct? This looks like an introductory line. In today's age, in once upon a time, these kind of sentences. These are introductory lines. So just by at the looks of it, I can say that C will be the first one because it is a introductory line. Okay. In this line, we talk about in today's age of technology, distances have shrunk. Correct? Communication and travel have become more accessible. So B, if you look at the B sentence, over here in C, we were talking about that distances have shrunk. How the distances have shrunk is explained over here. In B, we have explained that communication and travel have become more accessible. So, distances have shrunk. Why? Because communication and travel have become more accessible. Correct? So, B is an explanatory statement for C. Correct? I can write that B is an explanatory statement for C. Right? So C, after C we'll definitely get B. Why? Because in C we introduced an idea that distances have shrunk and then we explained it through B. Now in B we talk about communication and travel becoming more accessible. Now how has communication and travel become accessible? This is again explained in E, thanks to the internet and advancements in transportation. So communication and travel has become more accessible due to internet and advancements in transportation. So I can say that this sentence E is the explanatory statement for B. Correct? How? Because over here we introduced an idea, communication and travel become more accessible, and then we explained it how. This answers the question how, due to internet and advancements in transportation. So after B we'll get E, correct? Now, internet can connect people effortlessly, the world has become a global village. Now these two are remaining, D and A. I can see that the world has become a global village is not related to any of these four sentences. It is sort of like a summary or concluding statement. Correct? The world has become a global village. So this is a concluding statement. So I can say this will be last. If A is last, that leaves us with D. So D will come at this position. C, B, E, D, A. Now let us check. Okay, now let us look at the whole arrangement. C, introductory line. In today's age of technology, distances have shrunk. We introduced an idea. Then we explained this idea through line B, which is communication and travel have become more accessible. So how distances have shrunk? Through communication and travel. Correct? Then in B, we introduced an idea that communication and travel have become more accessible. How? That we explained in statement E, thanks to the internet and advancements in transportation. Correct? Now, after this, we expanded it. So, in statement D, we expanded it and said that internet can connect people effortlessly. We expanded upon the statement E. So, expanded statement E. Okay? In D, we did this. Now, we concluded this using the concluding statement that the world has become a global village. So, this is how you solve the question for paragraph jumbling. Basically, first I'll tell you the short trick. First, find a introductory line and a concluding statement if you can find. So once you set these two in place, once these two are set, then try to find a line which expands upon C, then to find a line which talks about the same idea that we talked about in this previous one, and then similarly from here to here also we have to move in the similar way. So always start by finding the introductory line and the concluding line if you can. Some paragraphs do not have a concluding line. In that case, we'll just sequentially and logically follow the sequence of expanding upon the previous statement or explaining the previous statement. So our answer will be option number 1, CBDA. Correct? So here you can look at the answer. This is the coherent paragraph, or you can also call it the meaningful paragraph. Okay, so here you can see, in today's age of technology, distances have shrunk, communication and travel have become more accessible. Thanks to the internet and advancement in transportation, internet can connect people effortlessly. The world has become a global village. So this was the introductory line. This one was the concluding line. And become more accessible how? Through internet, expanded, and this was again expanded in this statement. So this is how we solve the question for paragraph jumbling. Correct? Now, type 4, logical sequence doubling. This is something also you can get. For example, let us come to this question later. Let us say you have a dining table in your home, right? The first step that you do is you pull out the chair, right? The second step you'll do is sit on the chair. And then the third step you'll do is start eating during your meal times. Correct? Can I do this in any other order? Can I sit first and start eating first and then pull out the chair? No, I can't. Until and unless the chair is pulled out, how can I sit on it? Similarly, can I just pull out the chair and start eating? No. If I pulled out a chair, that means I have pulled it out to sit on it. So until unless I sit on the chair, how can I start eating? Correct? Let's say if I start eating first and then I pull out the chair and then sit on it, Does not make any sense. So this is the logical sequence. We cannot change this sequence. Things will be done in this order only. There is no other way we can do these things. This is the logical sequence. We have to follow this sequence, otherwise the job done will not be, you can say it will be inappropriate, right? So this is how we solve questions for logical sequence jumbling. Basically what we do is, we are given certain statements and these are jumbled up. These are not in logical sequence. We have to find out the logical sequence and then arrange them, rearrange them to find the answer. This is what we do. Now, the statements given to us are statement A, add coffee powder, sugar and milk. Statement B, boil water. Statement C, stir well. Statement D, sip on your coffee. Okay, so just by looking at it, I can see that we are making coffee, right? So anybody who has made coffee or anybody who has made tea will be able to answer this question. Even if you have not made tea at home, this is logical sequence. You'll know what to do just by looking at it. The first step would definitely be to boil water. Before boiling water, can we make coffee? No. That will be the logically first step. Correct? We need water to make coffee. The second step will be to add in whatever you are making the coffee for, right? If you're making tea, we'll add in the tea leaves. If you are making Maggie, for example, you will add in the Maggie packet, right? So the second step will be to add in the ingredients. Over here, the ingredients are what? So this was the first step, B. Then the ingredients are given in statement A. Then we add the coffee and then sugar and then milk. Now, can we drink it directly like this? Will it taste good? No. Until and unless we mix everything together and we just stir everything together, how can we get a good product, right? So the third step will be mixing it or to stir it, and that is given in option number C. Now that my coffee is ready, only then I can sip it or I can drink it. Correct? Can I drink it directly after adding the ingredients? No. The stirring step was important. Similarly, can I add boiling water? Can I add coffee, sugar, milk after drinking my coffee? No, because these things have to be added earlier. So this is the logical sequence. I cannot deviate from it. This is the logical sequence. So the last statement will be D. B, A, C, D, which is option number 4. So option number 4 will be your correct order. Again, logical sequence means that we cannot do this thing in any other order. This is the final order. And this is how you solve questions for logical sequence jumbling. Okay. Now, type 5 alphabetical order of words. So just as the name suggests, we have to arrange things in alphabetical order. Alphabetical order always means increasing alphabetical order. So until and unless it is very specifically mentioned in the question, we do not deal with decreasing alphabetical order. Alphabetical order by itself means increasing or ascending. What is the alphabetical order? Alphabetical order is A, then B, then C, then D, then E, then F, then G, then H, then I, J, K, then L, M, N, O, P, then Q, R, S, T, U, then V, then W, then X, then Y, and then Z. This is the alphabetical order. We are moving in an increasing alphabetical order. So whenever the question says that we have to arrange the words in alphabetical order, that means increasing order. Correct? Until and unless it is specified in the question that you have to use reverse alphabetical order, we do not change the order. We always assume it is ascending order. Now, over here we are given 4 words: apple, grapes, banana, and orange. And we have to arrange them in alphabetical order. So we know that apple if you remember forward ranks, let me give them ranks, right? I'm just giving them ranks. So forward ranks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. So these are your forward ranks. So if you remember the concept of forward ranks, this we did in alphanumeric series as well as coding decoding. We did this in similarities and differences as well. So if I give the forward rank to only the first letter, so A, then B is 2, G is 7, and O is 15. If you remember, there was also a shortcut to remember forward ranks, AJOT 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. Correct? So here, if I have to arrange them in alphabetical order, we can also write that we have to arrange them in dictionary order. This is also a term used. So dictionary order is also used. If you've seen a dictionary, in dictionary, we move from A towards Z. So in the first few pages, we deal with A, then B, then C, and so on till Z. So in dictionary order also, first we'll get A, then B, then grapes, and then orange. So our sequence will be apple, then banana, then grapes, and then orange. Correct? So our answer will be option number 4, apple, banana, grapes, and orange. So in these type of questions, whenever we deal with alphabetical order of words, this we solved, right? We can also get a different type of questions. Let's say if I have a word, okay, apple, then I have a word, or let's take names, okay? If I have Adrian, Aarti, okay, let's say Aarti, Ananya, Akash, and Arav. Let's say these are 4 students in a school. Now the teacher is maintaining a register. The teacher maintains a register in which we mark the attendance, right? So whenever, if you have seen the attendance register, or I'll tell you that we maintain it in dictionary order. We give roll numbers according to your dictionary name in the dictionary order, right? So if I have to write this in a attendance register, how will I write it? Because all of these are A, so can I write them in any order? No. If the first letter is same, then we'll move on to the second letter. So if you look at the second letter, this is A. So this is A, this is K, N, and R. A, K, N, and R. So this is first rank. K is 11, N is 14, and R is 18. Correct? So if I have to maintain a register, it will be Aarti, then Akash, then Ananya, and then Arav. This will be in the attendance register. So if you get something like this, where the first alphabet is same, then we'll move on to the second alphabet. We arrange it according to the second alphabet. Let's say that even the second alphabet is same. So we have a student name Anchal, let's say. Okay, we have a student name Anchal. So then we'll move on to the third alphabet. So AA, and AA is common in Aarti and Anchal. R is 18 and N is what? N is 14. So Anchal, this is Aarti, right? Anchal will come even before Aarti. How? Because the first 2 letters were same. Then we moved on to the third letter. So this is how you solve questions for alphabetical order words. First you look at the first letters. If they are same, then second letters, and if they are also same, then third letters, and so on. So we have to arrange them in alphabetical order, also known as dictionary order. Okay? So this concludes today's lecture. Thank you.